Welcome to the webinar today. It's our December 2014 webinar, the last webinar of the year. So thank you so much for everyone that's here. Appreciate you being here. These question and answer webinars only work if you're here and you're actively involved in these. So there's only, I can come up with questions that other students have asked me, but really what I want it to be is about you. And you've made the effort to be here, and I want you to get your questions answered. All right, so happy holidays, everyone. I know we have students from all over the world. That this time in the United States, this time there's a lot going on, a lot of activities, a lot of fun, and whatever your traditions are, or whatever the events are this holiday season, I hope you're enjoying it. So this webinar is going to be a practice session. I will introduce myself here. This is me and my little family. I have 3 little boys who keep me very busy and who are a lot of fun during the holiday season. So that's been a great thing. I am, just a little introduction to myself. I am a speech language pathologist is my background. That's what all those letters mean. Nationally certified as a speech language pathologist. And so that has given me some good background and training in being able to teach pronunciation and fluency, and in a way that is unique and is very effective for my students. So I've been doing a little more about me as I've been doing accent training for about 7 or 8 years now, and I love it. It's my passion. It's what I love to do, and I love working with my clients and students, and second to my family. This is my passion. All right. Oh, here are the little guys. We just took these family pictures we send out Christmas cards to our family and friends. And so here are a few pictures from that. All right, so let's get started here today. I want to start with just a topic that came up with one of my students the last couple of weeks. He's from Taiwan, and he was invited to a couple different parties in the US, and he was wondering kind of what is expected from these parties. And one of them, he said he got an invitation, and the way he worded it, an invitation to dress ugly. And so, and I thought for a second, I'm like, to dress ugly, okay, what does that exactly mean? And what it was is he got invited to an ugly sweater party. Okay, this is something that's kind of a funny little thing that is done in the United States. Not everybody does it, but it's a pretty common theme of a party. Is at the holidays time, some people will throw an ugly sweater party, and just like it shows in the picture, basically what that means is you got to find your ugliest Christmas sweater, or your most obnoxious, loud, crazy Christmas sweater, and you wear that to the party. So that's kind of a funny little tradition with here in the United States. I'm not sure if it's at other places around the world, but it's very common for people to throw an ugly sweater party. So as I explained this to my client this week, he was thinking, okay, I think I've got a really nice ugly sweater from about 16 years ago that would work. So hopefully that was a fun thing for him. Another kind of common traditional thing, and these type of parties are not everyone does them, but it's very common to have these type of parties. The next one is called a white elephant gift exchange. And this custom and this event, I guess I should say, a white elephant gift means kind of a funny gift, what we call a gag gift, just something that is strange, unusual, comical, just silly gift. And what you do is you wrap it up, you bring something wrapped up, and then there's a certain game that you play that you pass around these gifts, and people open them up and see what they are, and then people can steal the ones based on the rules. So I'm not going to go over the rules, but essentially it's you bring a silly gift. And gifts that have been brought to white elephant gift parties that I've been to are things like this Snuggie, just like this blanket with arms, kind of a funny little gift. This is one that as I was Googling white elephant gift, I saw a picture of this hat with the knitted cap and beard to help keep your face nice and warm during the winter time. But there's different groups will have different kinds of gifts. But this is a very common themed party that you'll find during the holiday times. And sometimes it's just a matter of figuring out, okay, this type of group that I got invited to, they tend to bring these type of gifts, and you kind of have to get comfortable with who you're doing this with. But that's a very common thing that happens in the United States. All right. Okay, let's get into your questions. Let me take a look. I'm gonna go out of here and kind of take a look at if Farzana is here in this. Oh, there you are. Okay, good. I'm glad you're here. Okay, so Farzana, she asked, I have trouble hearing the difference between the short A and the short E. Okay. So Farzana is obviously, well, maybe you're not. Farzana, are you in, have you gotten to the vowels yet with the lessons? The vowel lessons, especially the short vowel lessons, are actually not until week 7 of the program. But what I want to do today, and be patient with me as I find the page that we need to work on in week 7. But this is very common to have trouble kind of hearing the difference between the short vowel sounds. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through some listening exercises and make sure that you hear the difference between those sounds. So in every one of your let me look real quick. In every one of your lessons, your sound lessons, you're going to have this listening quiz. And those listening quizzes are important because unless you hear the difference between the sounds, you're not going to really be able to catch yourself saying them incorrectly because you don't hear the difference. And so what I want you to do is, right now, I'm going to go through the ones that have the a and eh. And here's what I want to do. I want to explain kind of the difference between those two sounds. A, okay? A, the way I like to kind of think of it is a is wide, and it's pretty wide open sound. Is a little bit more neutral. Okay, so a, So what I'm going to do is I want you all to kind of think to yourself, okay, what sound is she saying? So number 1, I'm going to say one of them, and I'm going to cover my mouth so you can't see what I'm doing with my mouth, because I want you to just use your ears. Okay, so I'm going to say a word, one of those 2 words, and I want you to think and see if you can figure out which word I'm saying. So, set. Okay, so if you want to write it in there you go, write it in the question box. Good. So I'm saying the second word. So here's where it really helps is I'm going to contrast the 2 a few times, and I want you to just listen very carefully to make sure that you can, to try and hear the difference there. So sat, set, sat, set, sat, set. So saying the first one and then the second one, the first one and then the second one. Let's do another one. Let's do number 7. Man, 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 man. Okay, which word was that? Okay, so it was the first one, man, man, the first word, man. So let me contrast these two, ready? Man, men, man, men, man, men. Okay, so as you hear, especially the contrast of the two, and do it yourself, sometimes it helps being like, okay, that was that one, that was that one. Man, men, man, men. Okay, let's do number 9. All right, ready? Said, 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 said. All right, good, you guys. You guys are getting it. Okay, so listen. This is the important part, is listening to the contrast. Ready? Sad, said, sad, said, sad, said. All right. Okay, let's do number 10. Pet, pet, pet. All right, good. The second one, pet. Okay, ready? Pat, pet, pat, pet, pat, pet. Okay, so hearing that contrast, are you able to hear those two different sounds? Eh, pat, pet. So one thing that I like to do is, when I'm working with my students live, what I'll do is, instead of sock, I'll change that to sec, or black, black, cat, ket. So I'll change it to whatever sound you're having a hard they're having a hard time being able to distinguish between. So a lot of them is like ah and ah. They're having a hard time between that one. Then I'll change the second word, so it just we have 10 words that are just focused on those two different sounds. And what you can do is, if you have a friend that's a native speaker or something, just say, okay, I want you to say one of these words, and I'm going to tell you which one you say. And then have them say one, and then the first one, then the second one, first one, second one, first one, second one, and have them contrast them, because it's really when you contrast them and hear them right next to each other, as you do that, and kind of maybe go through the 10 and then go through it again. Usually what I find is that for my students, if the second time we go through the list, they're like, okay, I'm hearing it. Okay, so it does take a little bit of time. It's kind of, I feel like it's the exercise for your ears, is this listening quiz and contrasting those two sounds. It's a very important thing to practice. And like I said, we say with all of this, it just takes a lot of practice. And this is the practice for your ears before you move on to the practice with your mouth. So that's going to be very important. All right, so I hope that that helps there. Okay, so the second question, she was talking about the final voiced consonants. Okay, does the trick holding the vowel for 2 beats before the voiced consonant, is this a temporary practice of ending sounds, or is it applied all of the time? And if so, when we hold the vowel for 2 beats, does the root and phonetics of that vowel change, or does it stay as is? So let me take the first question. Is this a temporary practice? Yes, it's a temporary practice. I don't necessarily want you to talk about the cab and the cap. My dad is, it doesn't sound as natural to kind of hold that vowel too long. What we're doing is we're training your vocal cords. You're training your throat to kind of turn on that sound at the end of the word. And as you do that and you practice that at the beginning and kind of really emphasize that at the beginning, then your voice says, oh, okay, I'm getting the hang of it. I'm getting the idea. You want me to turn on. right here, and then it starts, you start getting better at those ending sounds. And then you can kind of taper it off as you go through. And it depends, if ending sounds are a problem for you, then you're going to really want to practice that. If not, not that big of a deal. I find that the D sound is the most common for my students to have trouble with. So just paying attention to that D sound is going to make a big difference. And then does holding the vowel change the vowel? No. So let me give you an example of this. So if I said dad, okay, so I said dad, 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 ah, ah. So I'm just doing it short, ah, ah, versus ah, ah. The intonation might change, ah, ah, but that sound is the same. Same for pet, 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 pet. It's still the same sound, but I can hold it long, I can make it short. The term short vowels doesn't mean how long it's held. It means kind of it's more referring to the movement is short. So like in your mouth, versus e. There's more movement for the e, so we call it a long vowel. Same with a, longer movement with the a sound versus a has a very short movement with the mouth. All right. Okay, so that's the end of the questions that I got today. So I'm going to come back up to the top here and kind of scroll through and see if there's questions. If you think of a question, go ahead and put that in there. Okay, so one person is saying, I have someone saying, so Ron is saying, I have trouble distinguishing between the N, and NG endings to make the N less nasal, and to make the N less nasal. So the N sound is a nasal sound. What happens is your tongue closes off your mouth, the airflow from your mouth, and it makes your airflow go through your nose. So what we have to do here, the difference between the N and the NG. Here's the difference. The N, you're going to close off your tongue at the front. Your tongue is coming at the front of your mouth. So that little ridge you have behind your front teeth, that's where your tongue, kind of the edge of your tongue is coming up to that ridge of your mouth. Now for the what's happening is the back of your tongue is what's closing off your mouth, or that airflow in your mouth. And then you're going to kind of release it into the G. So I'm teaching a class. So let me go into here, and teaching. So ing sound at the end. Ing, teaching, ing. See how my tongue is down. Versus if I said teaching, I'm teaching a class, teaching versus teaching a class. It's just where that tongue comes and closes off. All right, let's see. Okay, thanks, Pablo. He says I don't know the exact hour in Barcelona, but it's probably not the most convenient time. But thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Okay, so let's, okay, I'm seeing the D and the T pronunciation is hard for me. So D and T. So Zingman, let's see, I'm not quite sure. I'm going to unmute you if that's okay. You there?
Yes.
Hi.
Yeah.
All right, so the D and the T sound are hard for you. Tell me a little bit more. What do you mean, kind of the pronunciation of them, the voiced versus voiceless? What part of the D and the T?
For example, when I say better, means not good, or is better, is getting better. My listener is always don't understand. It's harder to understand me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so so the D and the T, if you notice, the D and the T are produced in the same position. So they're what we call pairs. And so they're the same thing. The only difference is the voicing. So the D is voiced, D, and the T is voiceless. Yeah. So so one thing that's interesting, so you said like bed. If you, it has that D sound at the end, right? But a lot of times a lot of people pronounce it as bet, right? Bet. Instead of bed. But bet is a whole different word in English. I'm going to bet on the horse, right? I'm going to risk money on a bet. Okay, so when you're saying better, and there's a lot of if you think about the tap T rule, are you familiar with the tap T rule? In week 2, yeah. Have you gotten to the tap T rule yet? Dingman?
Hi.
Hi, have you gotten to the tap T rule in week 2?
No.
Oh, okay. So that will explain how sometimes a T, so the rule is when a T sound is surrounded by vowels, then it becomes a D pronunciation. So there's a lot of kind of trade-off between that T and the D sound in English. So like what you were saying, better, right? I'm getting better at my English. It's spelled like it should be better, right?
Better.
But because those T sounds are surrounded by vowels, then we pronounce it better. Better.
Yeah, better. Yeah.
So that's common. That's how native English speakers do it. Butter. There are so many examples of those tap T rules, and you'll learn that in week 2 of the program. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so between week 1 with the voiced and voiceless sounds and week 2 with that tap T sounds, you kind of get a feel for those T and D differences. But you just can continue to kind of listen for the differences there and when they're going to be, a T becomes a D for that tap T. Okay?
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Let's keep going here. Okay. So Pablo says, I've been using your advice about the and the sound for the, but there are so many students asking why sometimes it sounds like the, not E or Can you explain that a little? Like the river sounds as an E, they say. The river. So in week 2, we go over the and the. Pablo, have you let me unmute you. Hi, Pablo, are you there?
Yes, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Great. Okay, so the and the, are you wondering, okay, when do I use the and when do I use the?
No, I'm not wondering about that. It's just that I'm struggling with Spanish speaker students trying to understand that sometimes it's like a close and sometimes it sounds like in the river. It sounds sort of an A for them. Like in Spanish, there's E. In English, is E. In Spanish, it would be A. And that sound doesn't exist in English, I believe.
Okay.
So it's hard for them to forget about the A and start learning to say the or the, because normally as Spanish speakers, as is in my case, we tend to say the for everything, and the, like dictionary, that's not the.
Right.
And well, that's a little. I have been struggling with my students trying to teach them to forget about the A, like elefante.
Okay.
They do, so you don't have A in English, I believe.
Right.
So, but they think that the river. They say the river, not the river.
Yeah, and what I hear a lot of times with Spanish speakers is, the TH usually becomes a D sound, like duh,
Exactly.
right? Duh river. And so you got to make sure that the TH sound, that they're getting that correct position with the TH sound. And then the I always think of it as just kind of a punch in the stomach, you know, just like what sound would just come out if you just opened your mouth and and for this one, the river, I think that what you would want to do, and this is for anyone who's having that hard time with that, you know, that sound and getting the instead of d, is right, the river, the road, the
road. Yeah, but it sounds like an A for them.
It sounds like, okay, so you're going to want to do some sound listening quizzes with them. So you're going to want to contrast so that it sounds like the, which one? So D?
Sounds like A, like elefante, enano, enano.
Okay. So what you're going to want to do is contrast, and it, you know, to me, the A, I know it's not a full like A sound, but that's what it kind of sounds like in terms of, you know.
Okay, that helps.
That's what, to me, for as an you know, English speaker, that A sound is what it's sounding like. So what you'd want to do is contrast the, they.
Okay.
And then find words that have the but the only difference is the vowel. Like I do with the listening quiz, you know, the only difference is that one vowel. So you think, okay, what other sounds have a sound in it? You know, gum, game, you know, gum, game, and contrast those, because that's part of the listening. You can't say it until you hear it, right?
Yes, of course.
You have to hear it first, and so you have to do those listening quizzes for them to get it.
Especially when you speak fast and fluent in English, it sounds like an A for them instead of a the. If you speak slowly, they can really get the the sound. But when you speak, when you or anybody which is native speaker speaks rapidly, they hear an A, not an
yeah,
and especially because I am in Costa Rica, I am from Costa Rica, living in Barcelona, teaching in English. It's sort of hard for me to convince them that this is the true thing that they have to learn.
Right. Yeah, that's something, and you know, yeah, convincing them is one thing. That's good luck with that one. I don't have a lot of tips for that one. But
no, what I do is I just try to I have a lot of videos and material and sounds and audios for them, like real materials from native speakers, so they can hear that. But sometimes it's difficult to contrast the A sound and the sound from the real the.
Oh, okay.
But the examples that you're giving, I think those will work really good.
Okay, good. And one thing you do have to remember is you say, like, when they're speaking in conversation, it just sounds like the A, you know, sounds like A sound.
Exactly.
Is that with pronunciation, you do have to start off with, okay, let's listen first. Let's figure out how to listen, and then let's kind of work our way up to that point. And once they kind of do that, those steps up. So like, for every sound that we work on a listening quiz. We, you know, work on listening first, then at words, then at sentences, and then we kind of go up from there. And once they kind of hear it and then they go through those steps, then in conversation they're going to be like, oh, okay, I can hear that now.
I hear you.
Yep. Okay, cool. All right. Thanks, Pablo. Appreciate it. Great question.
Bye-bye. See you around. Bye.
Okay, good. Love it. Okay. All right, let's keep going. Please show me how to say bad and better. Okay, bad and better. I'm going to go through these two sounds. Bad and better. Bad has the long A sound in it. Oops. Bad, ah. So it's that same sound that Pablo was just talking about, ah, And then this one has eh, eh. So those two sounds that we were contrasting at the beginning of this program. Ah, sorry. Here's what I did wrong. Not a, bad and better. So they both have that T, like we mentioned before. Better is going to have that D sound. Bad, better. Bad, better. Okay, I'm actually going to unmute you again. Zingman, can you say those two words for me, Zingman?
Oh.
How about bad
Better,
and, sorry,
better.
go ahead.
Bad, better.
Okay, you got to get more of an ah. Say the sound for me. Ah. So bad.
Bad.
There you go. Bad.
Bad.
Better.
Better.
Yep. Do it again. Bad.
Bad.
Better.
Better.
Okay. Here's another. Here's another two I want you to contrast. How about these ones? Bed. Bad.
Better. Bad.
Okay. Say these two for me. Bed. Bad.
Better. Bad.
So not better. So just down here where it says bed.
Better. Better. Bad.
You have to get more bed.
Bad.
Bad.
Bad. Better. Bad. Better. Bad. It's hard for me. Bad. The first word bad. Better.
So the one better sounds great. Better. I'm doing better. That one I don't have no problem with. It's bad that you're not getting enough sound there.
Bad.
Add. Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah, so that's the sound that you're going to want to practice. And that's, you go over the short vowels. You'll go over the short vowels and get, that sound specifically. You'll go over that sound specifically, and there'll be worksheets and things. But bad. So it's kind of a more wide open. I kind of think of it as kind of, wide open.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's that short A sound is whenever I talk about a short A, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for the question. Okay, let's see. Petra, you're saying I have trouble producing R and W properly at the beginning of words. Will there be a lecture focusing on these? Yes, definitely. So this is a very common thing. So R's and W's will be addressed in week 4 of the program. So and w. The biggest difference between these two, the R and the W, is the R is produced with the tongue, okay? Although the lips kind of go in a rounded shape, it's all about the tongue for the R. That tongue, and I have my hand here because that's how your tongue looks. I kind of think of this as my tongue, and it's the back of the tongue that comes up. Versus w is all lips. Okay, the W is all the lips. So w. So you'll get into that in week 4. Please let me know if you're still feeling like, oh, I'm not getting that. But we go over it in very much detail. I have actually 3 video lessons just on the R sound. So we go through it in R at the beginning of the word, R in R blends, and then R vowels is what we go through. So so you'll get that, but it's all about the tongue. Is with the tongue, w is with the lips. All right, good question. Okay, short A and ah. Yep, short A and ah. Okay, so Ron, you're having a hard time with the short A and ah. Let's go over. I'm gonna pull up. I'm gonna pull up my. So and ah. Okay, Ron, I'm gonna unmute you. You there, Ron? Ron, you there? Okay, I'm not sure. Maybe Ron's thing's not working. Does anybody else want to contrast the A and the ah, the and ah? So raise your hand if you're interested. So Hector. Hi, Hector. Was your hand up because you want to volunteer? Yes. Okay. Okay, I can barely hear you. You there? Okay, a little bit better. I don't know if everybody else can, but we'll go through this anyway. So, ah and ah. Okay, so we're going to go through the listening quiz. I'm going to say a word. I want you to tell me which word I'm saying. And everybody else, I want you to follow along and kind of write in the questions box which one we're saying. Okay, so we're going to do number 2. So I'm going to say a word. You tell me which word I'm saying. Ready? Okay. Sack, sack, sack. Okay, right. The first word, sack. So I'm going to contrast them. Everybody listen. Sack, sock. Sack, sock. Okay, so ah, again, that sound that we've been talking about a lot today. Ah, 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 ah. Okay. Okay, we're going to do the next one, number 3. So tell me which one I'm saying. Black, black, black. Okay. Yep, the first word. Okay, good. Black, good. You guys are all getting it. First word, so let me contrast it. Listen carefully. Black, block, black, block. All right. Okay, let's do the number 4. On, on, on. Yep, the second one. Good. Good job, you guys. Okay, on, an, on, on. And yeah, say it for me. Exactly. Exactly. Say these other ones for me. I want you to say number 2. Say those 2 words over number 2. So you want to make sure when you do sock that it doesn't sound like an O. You don't want it to be soak. You want it to be sock. 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 Yeah, so it's just dropping your jaw and kind of getting that sound. How about do number 3, the two words on number 3? Blah, block. Yeah, perfect. Okay, good. Let's do number 6. Okay, I'm going to say one of these words. Ready? Fought, fought, fought. The second word. Good. Okay, so I'm going to contrast. Fat, fought, fat, fought. Okay, you say them for me. Get a little bit more drop of the jaw for fought, fought, fought. Yep, so say the 2 for me. So, because what I'm hearing is fault, fault, and you're not opening your mouth and dropping your jaw a little bit more. So fa, fa. There it is. Fought, fought. So some of these, that's going to feel really uncomfortable, to be like, oh, I have to open my mouth to get that sound. I have to open it more than I'm probably comfortable with. But ah, ah. But you can really only get that ah sound if you get that jaw dropped, because otherwise, what's the difference between ah, ah? The only difference there is how much I drop my jaw. So if you think like cut, caught, I have a cut on my hand, I caught the ball. Say those 2 for me. Cut, caught. So do it again. Okay, so that second time I was hearing cut, caught, cut, caught. Okay, here's one that a lot of my students have a hard time really hearing. Hut, hot, hut, hot. Do that for me. There you go. Yep, you're getting it. Okay. Good, good. Thank you for volunteering. I appreciate it, Hector. Okay, so let's see. All right, so Val has a question. It says, this is my first day on the program. Welcome, Val. How often can I participate in this video? So these webinars I have once a month. And actually, I'm kind of excited because next year we've got some plans of kind of doing webinars, trying to do webinars a little bit more often, probably every other week. That probably won't start until March is what I'm guessing, is every other week doing more of these webinars so we can get more interaction with students who are going through the program, and more of these videos. So when you ask questions, it really helps us, because when we hear questions that are asked over and over again, we think, okay, we got to make a video for that. We got to make sure that we get some extra material on the site, and there's going to be a lot more of that happening this next year. So it'll be really nice and give you guys a chance to have more access to more material, more help here this next year. Okay, but right now, probably until March, it'll be about once a month that you can come to these. And I changed the times of the webinar to help accommodate different people, because right now it's in the middle of the night for some, or middle of the day, and they're working. So I have to kind of switch it up. So hopefully the times will work for you. And it does help for me to know what times work best for you. So you have to let me know what times will be good. Okay, I'm just going through some of the. Okay, so you said I meant the video lessons. Oh, okay. So Val is saying, okay, the video lessons. How often do I get the video lessons? So the video lessons are delivered every week. So every 7 days you'll get a new set. And the reason for that is you'll definitely want to spend some time practicing the material that you get in those weekly videos. If you go through the videos too fast, if you go through the program too fast, it's really hard to really learn all of the sounds and practice them, because we're really retraining your mouth to move in new ways, and that takes practice. So you have to practice consistently through the week, reading out loud and reading both the worksheets that I've given you to practice, and also I always encourage my students to find a book that they want to read in English and have it always available to them right there, so that when it's time to practice during the day, all they have to do is pick up the book, say, okay, what am I needing to practice this week based on the video lessons? Okay, this week I'm really thinking about the TH sound. So I'm going to open the book and I'm going to read out loud, focusing on that. I know that the ending sound, if you know the ending sounds are a problem for you, then you're going to be focusing on that sound. So it really takes that practice to make sure that you're really going to do well with this program. So every 7 days you'll get new material, and every week builds on the previous weeks. You do have access, however, to all of the past webinar recordings under the webinar section. You have access to bonus lessons there on the website that you can access from week 1. So you don't have to wait on all of that material. So if you're just like, I just need more, I want to learn more now, go into the webinar section. There is so much, there's hours and hours of material there that you can go through. But the core of the program, really, it's a very strategic, the way it's mapped out there. So I want to make sure that you're doing it as prescribed. All right. Okay, so Pablo's has a question. It says about the word the. So he's back. We're talking about that the sound that we were talking about before. I found Spanish speakers don't like to show their tongue in order to do the right sound. Do you have the same in the states with other? Do you have the same in the states with other cultures? Everyone that I work with. Almost every student I work with, we have to work on the TH sound because it's very unique to English, and every one of them feel very awkward when they first start learning this sound. So very natural to feel uncomfortable showing their tongue. And this is one of those things that you just have to get over, because there is, and it doesn't mean you have to have your tongue sticking out like crazy. You don't have to say the, with your tongue completely sticking out, the. But if you watch native English speakers, most likely you're going to see that tongue, that tongue when they do that TH sound, it's just going to be really fast. And what you have to learn is, when you're learning that TH sound, learning position, it's going to be really uncomfortable because your tongue's not going to want to do it, and you have to kind of fight against that. And when you, as you practice it, you'll get faster at getting that tongue in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. And so that it's not going to be so obvious that your tongue's hanging out of your mouth. So it does. And what I say is, for a lot of my students is just say the, and try and get your mouth in that position, and then pull it in and out, in and out, in and out as fast as you can. And really what you're doing is your tongue is just hitting against the backside of your front teeth, and it's going and kind of pushing off of your teeth. But yeah, it's pretty common to feel a little silly about having your tongue hanging out. All right, good. Okay, so a question for Zanza, the forum. So here's the background on the forum, is that we had a hard time kind of getting people to use the forum on the website. People weren't asking questions so much. And what we found to be a little bit better, and we're still kind of working with it, is that we have a Facebook group, a private Facebook group for Pronunciation Pro students. So if you go into your profile page, on the top right hand side, they'll say join the Facebook group. And if you click on that, then you can request to join, and I can accept your request. And then posting questions on that Facebook forum we found to be a little bit better, because I'm able to post there, and we can do questions there and answers there, and everybody can see it. And it just we've had a little bit more success with that. So definitely use that. Hopefully you're on Facebook. If not, then please email me any questions that you have, and we can do it. We can do it that way. We're definitely available for questions. All right, I got to the end of the list here. Let me go back here to my PowerPoint and just talk about a few words of the day. So we're on the Christmas season, so let's talk about a few Christmas related vocabulary. So Christmas is what we tend to say, how we tend to pronounce it. So Christmas, Christmas, Christmas. So first syllable stress, Christmas. Okay, and I have that there in Ruden phonetics for you, Christmas. Okay, definitely say these out loud to yourselves. Make sure you're getting it right. Mistletoe. Mistletoe is a little plant that traditionally, if it's hung over a doorway and someone's underneath it, then they need to kiss, is the tradition. If you're standing under a mistletoe, then you need to kiss the person that you're standing under it with. So mistletoe, missile has that dark L in the middle, toe. So it's that whenever I do a capital O, it means the name of its letter, or the long O. So toe. Same toe as like my pinky toe, the toes on my feet, toe. Mistletoe. Missile, that ol is probably going to be the trickiest part. That dark L is usually tricky. Missile, missile, same like missile, like I'm going to shoot a missile. The weapon, the missile. Mistletoe. Okay, family, family. A lot of my students will say family, family, and typically for native speakers, they reduce it to the two syllables, fam, family, family. And then Santa Claus. Santa Claus is how we refer to Saint Nicholas, or there are many different names around the world for this character here. Santa Claus, kind of like claws on an animal, claws. Santa Claus, Santa Claus. And we're going to stress that first syllable. All right. And just to kind of add, if you're interested in getting personalized feedback as you go through the program, what we have is the Plus package and the Premier package offer that more personalized training. So the basic package, we get these webinars and you get a chance to get feedback here. In the Plus package, you'll get, you send a recording to me every month or every week, an assignment that's given every week, and you record your assignment, you send it to me, I listen to it, and I make notes on a paper, kind of here, here's where you're making errors, here's what you're doing right, and then I send a recording back to you that explains kind of how you're supposed to do it and what you need to kind of correct and what to improve on. And we do that every week of the program through the Plus package. So that's been a really effective program. Is if you're interested in that personalized feedback from your trainer, then that works very, very well. You also get an accent assessment at the beginning, so a full accent assessment where you read through a list of words. I mean, it's probably a 15-minute recording that you'll do, and we analyze it and we look through, make sure, identify any patterns that you're doing in your speech that need to be corrected. And then we send you a report outlining those error patterns. And then you can use that to know, okay, this is what I need to focus on as I continue through the course. Okay, so that's for our Plus package. Premier package, same thing, except you get live training. So that is every week of the program, you meet with one of our trainers live through video conferencing. Okay, so those are the different ideas if you're interested in getting personalized feedback for every week of the program. All right, we'll leave you with a thought here. You will never change your life until you change something that you do daily. The secret of your success is found in your daily routine. This is John C. Maxwell that said this for me, said this quote. And I love this because it really is about our daily habits, what we're doing every day that really creates success for us. So in this situation with our pronunciation, it's all about the daily practice. You are learning to correct, correct the sounds that your mouth is producing, the muscles in your mouth. You're changing those muscle movements. And just like if you are changing your golf swing or how you kicked a soccer ball, you have to, if you're changing that muscle routine, you have to do it every single day to correct it and make sure that new way becomes your most comfortable way. And that's only done through practice. So think about that. Think about, okay, how am I, if you're just getting started with the course or you're halfway through it and you're having a hard time with it, I want you to make sure, okay, this is the time a day that I am going to practice. And set aside that time so that you can definitely get the results that you can get if you're following through with that practice time. I know it works for my students that really, really are diligent about that practice time. It's amazing what they can accomplish in 12 weeks. All right, so good luck with that. And Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. If you have any other questions or need help with anything else, just email me, Annie at pronunciationpro.com. I'd be happy to help. And I wish you all the best and good night. And if you're here in the States, good night. Thanks.